What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it looks like some terrible news is on the horizon for Disney and Marvel, and you just hate to see it. Also, terrible news for Scarlett Johansson, which you just hate to see. Never forget, Scarlett Johansson not once but twice defended Woody Allen. So there you go. This is a woman that obtained fame, and wealth by being beautiful and being kind of this spicy object for people. And then now that she's on the wrong side of 35, suddenly she cares about it. Remember, just a week ago, there was 100 articles written about Scarlett Johansson criticizes Black Widow's too spicy portrayal in Iron Man 2. Remember all this? I'm not going to go through all of this again. I already covered this. And then there's news today. Black Widow Scarlett Johansson is saying goodbye to Natasha Romanoff. Interesting. Black Widow is shaping up to be Scarlett Johansson's final run with Natasha Romanoff, which she's been playing since 2010's Iron Man 2. The character was, of course, killed off in Avengers Endgame when a sacrifice was called for as a means to obtain the Soul Stone for Avengers in their fight to undo Thanos. But now that she got the prequel, she says, honestly, I feel like it feels great to leave a party when it's still raging. And I think that this film, Black Widow, feels very much like it's alive and fresh and powerful, and I'm really pleased with it, Johansson said. I feel really happy with the work that we've done for the decade of time, and it's bittersweet to say goodbye, but if you love something, you need to set it free. I mean, look, there's something to be said for bailing a sinking ship. That said, even if these movies continued to tank, Scarlett Johansson's still going to draw an immense salary. So, in a way you respect it, not hanging on. But I also think, what choice did she have? I think Disney's going to, thank it's not like Jeremy Renner's going to stick around for 5 more Hawkeye films, especially with the new Disney Snow White calling him phobic and all sorts of names. Will likely get him terminated from Disney because that's what matters. I was hoping to see some critic reviews. I've seen some of them floating around online, and they've been mixed. I'm sure the movie will be just fine. That's what Marvel movies are. Marvel movies are fine. They are McDonald's. They are consistent. They are the same no matter what country you're in except China. And it'll always hit the spot. It's never going to be something you want to talk to your friends about anymore. You don't want to be seen eating it in the light of day. But overall, Marvel films certainly fit a need, and that's just fine. But the box office projections look really, really bad. And I think a lot of that is, it's twofold. One, we don't really know what a box office smash hit looks like in a post-lockdown world. Most cinemas are now open again. It's summer. People are out doing their thing. But also, there is a portion of the world, especially in America, of people that will literally never go back to a movie theater. They are so scarred from everything that happened last year and the constant fear prawn that they've been consuming. They're so scarred and so damaged internally that they will probably never willingly put themselves in a large group again. Meaning movie theaters, concerts, things like that will continue to suffer for the most part. Now, there are people out there, though, that, they either got the poke or they're fine wearing a mask in a theater or whatever the case is. And that's good. But that's not nearly the number of people that it used to be. For me, I'm not wearing a mask to watch a movie. Absolutely not. That said, the theater I went to has basically social distanced seats. And, if you have a bucket of popcorn in your lap and a soda, you're good. There was nobody policing that, unlike NBA basketball games where there's people with weird signs getting in your face if you chew on your chicken tender too long. But that's just where I'm at. And you can disagree with it. You can call that foolish or whatever. But look, we're talking about seeing a Disney movie in the movie theater. It's not like I'm taking a stand on something important. I could always watch it on streaming. I could always jump in my boat and swim, paddle out and watch it that way. There's a million ways for me to watch a Disney movie that don't involve me being uncomfortable. It's actually the same as, similarly, I won't go see a movie if it's like sold out. If there's like elbow to elbow people, I don't go. It's too much of a pain. I hate milling around at the end to try to get around people, waiting forever for concessions. It's why I see matinees. I guess I'm kind of like an elderly person in that way. So there's a lot of reasons why I won't go see a movie in the theater. And it's not just, the mask stuff. But I'm saying there's a lot of that. Then add into that the amount of time since Endgame, right? Yeah, Disney's put out some okay Marvel content on Disney Plus. If you view Wanda as a villain in WandaVision, I think it actually makes the show better. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, meh, okay. They're going to continue to pump mediocre Marvel content out onto Disney Plus, which is actually a much better way to consume it. For like whatever, $8 a month people pay for that. I don't know. I cancel mine, but whatever it is. And again, I don't shame people for having it. That's more value, right? And then it's going to be a lot more value like in 3 years when you can go back and binge and watch like 4 seasons of some of these shows, although some of them are only 1. It's been so long that I think some people are just over the Cape stuff. I remember if you go back and saw my, watch my early coverage on Black Widow, I was excited to see the film. I definitely wanted to support it. But now I'm not going to the theater to see it. It'd be really unlikely unless my wife was like, I really want to see this in the theater. Box Office Tracking and Forecast website Box Office Pro recently released their projections for Disney and Marvel Studios' upcoming Black Widow film, and they do not look good. Box Office Pro predicts that Black Widow will have an opening weekend between 65 and 90 million. Now, in a post-lockdown world, that's pretty good, to be fair. However, they specifically hone in on and predict the movie will make 77 million in its opening weekend. For a domestic total, they believe it'll make between 155 and 225 million dollars. These numbers are abysmal for an MCU film, despite Box Office Pro trying to put a spin on them and claim that the movie is still kind of an event tentpole with 4-quadrant appeal that is likely to attract more people back to the theaters and set a new lockdown era benchmarks at the domestic and international box office. I think it's also important to point out, as I mentioned earlier, capacity is a thing. Theaters aren't at max capacity. I don't know if they have additional tickets that, they could get to that level. By the way, if you're watching this video and you enjoy my content, I hope I will earn your subscription today. There's a red subscribe button down below the video. I hope that you'll consider clicking it. If you look at previous MCU films, the lowest opening weekend was The Incredible Hulk back in 2008 of 55 million. In fact, there are only 5 MCU films that have made less than 77 million in their opening weekends. Aside from The Incredible Hulk, the other are Ant-Man, Captain America, the First Avenger, Thor, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Well, that's actually, Ant-Man and the Wasp did worse than I thought. If you want to give Black Widow the benefit of the doubt that it will hit higher into Box Office Pro's prediction of 90 million, it only moves up 2 spots, beating Doctor Strange, which brought in 85 million, and Thor: The Dark World, which was 85 million. I mean, I think that, Black Widow should be about on par with Doctor Strange. However, if you factor in for inflation, it falls much further down the list. As for its total domestic prediction, it looks worse than the opening weekend, depending on which end of the spectrum you look at. If you look at the low end of 155 million, that only film it beats is The Incredible Hulk, which grossed 134 million. But if you factor inflation, The Incredible Hulk beats it by 13 million. That would make Black Widow the worst performing MCU film of all time. That's interesting. I mean, I wonder what... are they just going to take an L on this? Okay, so the budget is more than 200 million, meaning, as we always do with cinema projections on budget, you double that to include marketing. So we're saying at minimum $400+ million budget. Yeah, they're losing money on this. This almost certainly, if these predictions hold true, there is almost certainly going to lose money. I mean, it's possible that, you know, it will drive Disney Plus subscriptions, but that seems unlikely. I mean, I feel like Disney Plus has reached a point of saturation where, you know, pretty much everyone that wants it already has it in the West anyway. People that would pay for Black Widow. I think this is going to lose money. It's not going to be all Black Widow's fault. The passage of time is real. Theater capacity is real. COOF-related, you know, apprehensions about going back to theaters, that's real. Also, Black Widow is a pretty, I don't know. When she sacrificed herself in Endgame, I felt like, man, I just want to see one more movie with Black Widow. I think she really could kind of hold it down on her own. Now it's so much further down the road. If it lost money, it looks like it's projected to lose money. I wouldn't be shocked. I also think this film will not do good in China, as it seems like, you know, the Chinese film bailout seems to be evaporating. They're kind of losing a lot of love for the Western films. I wonder, are they charging for this? Are they going to be charging $30? Let's see. Yep. With Premier Access, you can stream the blockbuster film for an additional $30 on top of your Disney Plus subscription. I don't know who pays $30 for that. $30 is immense. I mean, obviously they've done market research, but it's too much. I'm not paying $30 to stream a movie. Even 20, it would have to be something I really, really want to see. And I mean, like, I have the money. So what about all the families that don't have an extra $30? I mean, for $30, you could go to a matinee with a family of 4, depending on what city you're in. But I mean, $30, that's enough for 2 people to go see it in THX on a big screen. I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see if we ever see any like individual breakdowns. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that this movie's going to lose money, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Disney does going forward. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.